difficult to sustain. Okay, what was that, 3? Is that 3?
Yep.
That was 3. Okay, flexibility 1. Ready? Here we go. 1. Flexibility 2. 1, 2. Going up versus going down. What do they have in common? Same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? So don't change the fingering coming down. It's the same key, same scale. Do it again. 1, 2, and ready and play. Flutes, ready, go. Good old G. Fairly pleasant scale for flute. Yep, clarinets. Only clarinets. 1, 2, ready, and play. Again, please. 1, 2, ready, and play. That thing is way up here, and it needs to be way down here to push C sharp for the third note. Yeah. Third note is C sharp, right? 1, 2, ready, and play. That finger is way up here, and it needs to be down. A, B, C sharp, A, B, C sharp. Third note is C sharp, so the finger's got to be there. Don't hold your, it's like playing trumpet with your fingers here. It's needless distance travel when it should be right there open. Okay? Especially for instruments where the keys don't go down very far, the flute. Okay? Try it again. 1, 2, and ready, and play. Okay, let's hear you, Candace. You have to raise 2 fingers to go to D. Right, do it again. Again, please. B natural. You gotta raise the C sharp key back up. And now finish it. Okay, C sharp E, G sharp A. Last 5 notes. imitate my graduate school trumpet professor. In a private lesson, we're working on a piece, and I'm not prepared on this one section that he asked me to work on. And he's like, here, let me try. And he starts playing, and he starts kind of stumbling and fumbling through it on purpose. Because I know he could play it. And then he kind of, oh gosh, and he slowed down, and he's like, playing, and he goes, man, I need to work on this. And he turned and looked right at me. So what was he doing?
Tell him to check.
He was going through the motions of what I needed to do, which is come to the realization that I need to work on this, and then the next step after that
Is working.
he'll work on it. Okay? So when I ask you guys to learn these things for warm-ups, I mean, if we're, gosh, the end of April, woodwinds, these need to be learned. And it's not just one person, there's a few of you here and there that are struggling with a few things, and you're getting better, but don't allow yourself to go a day without at least working on something that we're doing in this class. You should be playing through your warm-ups at a level of execution where you're not even really thinking about it. You're just focusing on warming up your fingers, warming up your embouchures, warming up your brains, getting ready for rehearsal. Okay? But for woodwind, that means fingers, right? More than anything else, it means fingers. For brass, it's lip slurs. For percussion, it's instruments. Okay? So, and obviously now it's scales. But don't allow yourself to let it sit there. Don't allow yourself to let it sit there. You see, I get from time to time what an expression that's called a wild hair. You ever heard that expression? I got a wild hair to do this or to do that. You know, whether it's to take a trip to the mountains, because I like the mountains. A wild hair to take a trip to the mountains, so the boys in the car go. But, or a wild hair to buy a mouthpiece. You know, a wild hair to just something that, you know, you wouldn't do in the ordinary. But every now and then I get a wild hair to work on something around the house, and it's never at an appropriate time. My garage. The kids efficiently destroy it every week. And I usually make them obviously clean it up, but they make it worse. Alright, so then I end up finding a new, unique way of reorganizing and straightening it out each time. And last night it was about 9:45 p.m. and I was trying to get what we use, the big huge 4-gallon water jug machine in our kitchen, because our fridge doesn't have a water filter thing attached to the front. And I was changing out the jug, and there's all these empty jugs we have. I'll go over to Walmart and get them filled up. But these jugs were just kind of all over the place, and it was bothering me. So I took them out, and then I looked back behind them, I'm like, oh gosh, look at this stuff. And I started getting into it. And then 11 o'clock hits. I know that because I have this neighbor that walks his dog like every 2 hours. And usually 11 o'clock is about the last time he walks the dog for the day. He's this old man across the street, sweet old fellow. But he comes out with the dog, and I'm going, oh my gosh. And I'm just, look at this mess I made. You know, sometimes you gotta make a bigger mess in the process of cleaning it up, right? And so, started the process of reversing what I just did and making it better, but I get a wild hair. And I do, to do that from time to time, and I did that last night, and I really need to get a wild hair to practice my trumpet, because I've got a bunch of things coming up soon. But I gotta get in shape, but it just, as soon as I start practicing, I wanna practice for another hour. If I've got 30 minutes, I wanna practice for an hour. If I've got an hour, I wanna practice for 2 hours. Because you start getting into it, and you start feeling the improvement, and you wanna keep getting better, all right? For those that take that time to practice, which I feel like a lot of you do, all right? But give yourself the opportunity to know what that feels like. Everybody get my point?
Yes, sir.
All right? Otherwise, you are sabotaging your own growth as a musician. Okay? Alright, let's move on. Alright, we were in a bit of a rush towards the end of class yesterday, so let's do 101. Keep dancing through that. By the way, I keep forgetting to mention this every day, but as promised, Ms. Farrell, our booster treasurer, was able to find a few more boxes of chocolate, and a couple of you guys had asked for it, and I never told you, but we got it. Alright, so if anybody was interested in one last box, please let me know when we're packing up. I'll try to pack a few minutes early, and we can give it to you. The reason I brought that up was Ms. Kreider actually messaged a moment ago and said we have an upcoming freshman, a rising freshman who is trying to find ways to raise money to help pay for marching band fees, and was wondering if maybe they could get a box of chocolate. To which I said, why not? But I want to make sure y'all got first dibs before I start giving chocolate boxes to them. Okay? Great. Yes, ma'am.
Have you gotten any of that information yet?
But I did send you the calendar, right?
Yes.
That's what you initially asked for, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. The next thing you're gonna wanna know about is the payment schedule. Because we have an earlier payment schedule for this next year, right? All right, there was a handful of you that didn't come to the marching band parent meeting, even though you were supposed to come. I don't know if you know that or not. If you're planning on marching this next year, it's not you're in and then that's it. All right, we wanna have everybody there because of some policy changes and stuff. One of those being our requirements of X amount of fee payments completed by July 1st, if you don't participate. And that's it, that's the cutoff. And then we have our numbers. Okay, and I would hate for that to stunt our numbers in any way, but we, if you wanna dance, you gotta pay the band. I mean, you've got to make the payments, we have to have the money. People have waited entirely too long and just holding out on us to pay. So we're gonna full switch that moving forward. So, and I would hate to think that means that there's people who won't participate next year because of it, but no pay, no play. Okay, yes, sir? Sure. Okay, 101. 101. Ready? 1, 2. Start with a 2 euphonium. All right, E natural and F sharp. Come on, pencil. Mark. Do that. Mark, you ready? Here we go. Count me. Go. 2. About 2 seconds?
Yep.
Maybe 3? Okay, good. Here we go. 101. 1, 2, 3. F sharp. Clarinet play F sharp. Ready? Go. Good. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. Not bad. Melody people, not bad. It's only one thing. So fast forward. Da-dee-da-da, da-dee-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, right here. Bum, 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 bum. So rest on one, right? So we have one trombone player play on beat one. Make sure that there's a rest and you play on the end. End to end. Okay? Let's do it one more time. One more time. That's nice. Nice tone. Good job. All right. 1, 2, ready. So very, very, very exposed at 179. All right? Clarence, y'all know it's 179? Yeah. You don't play? Oh. Okay, were you trying to find that spot with your eyes? Yeah, this is what I did. Yeah. No. Right? Stole that from Apollo 13. You ever seen that movie? Really good. I agree. Really good story of the ill-fated Apollo 13 space module, but they managed to get home safely. True story. And there was a part in there where there was this one switch that would jettison the limb from the lunar module, and he put a little piece of paper with a piece of duct tape over that switch that said no. And a little bit later, when they got in there and got the hatch properly fastened, then Tom Hanks was sitting there, and it was Kevin Bacon and Tom Hanks and Bill Paxton. Tom Hanks goes, "What is that?" He goes, "Oh, I was getting kind of punchy in here, pushing the keys and stuff, and we were trying to power up the computer, and I didn't want to jettison the limb with you guys still in." And Tom Hanks goes, "That's good thinking." And he kind of snickered. He's just like, "Yeah, because we'd all die. So you're sucked in the vacuum of space." But I think about that when I do that in school. Don't play here. So, make it blatantly obvious so you know, even if you highlight, like a highlighter, some color or something, with a circle measure 179, so your eyes can shoot right over to that measure. Yes, sir. Sure. Here we go. All right, so, here we go. Right at 179. So 1, 2, jabba dabba 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 down. You know what we might do? We might add some wind chimes there. Because it's like it's dead air time. Shaka digga 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 down. Ba 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 ba. I don't like that. It's like you're going to the next track in the album. There needs to be segue. There needs to be transition. Okay. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll add some wind chimes. But why don't we try it? By the way, it's a pretty good ending right there. All the stuff we've been working on with hold, release, knob. Okay. All right. So find measure 139. 139, please. Count carefully. 24, 23, 140, 139. Ready? Here we go. And 1, 2, ready. Let's fix that. Dude, you're so out of tune. Where are you at? I will find you. And I will tune. So out of tune.
It's funny. Why have I been exiled to an island away from the trombones?
Okay, so let's play A natural. It's a good tuning up for flute. Yes, ma'am? So it's really high part, but I can give you something different that'll match it. I can give the second flutes the first clarinet notes, which are still up there. Okay, yeah. So that's first flute. And then so I can't do that. Right, but it's the same rhythm at first clarinet, but the notes would be A flat, G flat, E flat, A flat, G flat, E flat, B flat. So beg your pardon? That's right. Yes. I love it when you ask. Never assume. I do that too often. You got dinner already? Well, I just assumed you guys ate. That's one of the worst.
Because they want your
It's
food.
one of the worst because they, because I ended up getting like hibachi steak, and they apparently had tofu or something. So it's just like, well, don't be stupid.
I
Make
am.
good choices.
I
All right, so let's hear those notes first. D, da, 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 and then we'll tune. We go, ready,
Dead.
and. Yeah, beautiful, lovely. Again, ready, here we go. Ready, and. Yeah, those notes you had, it sounds a little weird, but it's correct. It's correct. It's not the notes that's wrong, it's the intonation. And I'm hearing a lot of in the tone. You gotta clear some of that air out of the tone. Okay? So, all right, let's tune. Give it just a moment, please, guys. I won't take long, I promise. Okay. All flutes play A natural. no waves. Wah, 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 wah. The slower the wave, the closer you are to being playing in tune. Now, it can have waves that are sharp, and it can have waves that are flat. And you have to know which one it is, so you know which way to adjust. Okay, play again. A. Stop. Don't hum. First of all, you're humming out of tune. I'm sorry, again, please. And once more, start right on it. Ba. See, rest your ear for a second. So you have to make sure that the note that you are playing and the way that you are playing that note when you tune is the same way that you play when you play the ensemble. Sometimes when people tune, they get a little nervous, they get tight, and they play differently. Or the opposite, or whatever it might be, but you have to make sure it's a consistent sound. That's why you tune, you stop. You tune, you stop. You tune, you stop. Not that fast, but you give yourself multiple attempts to make sure that you're getting a consistent pitch, and that pitch might be consistently sharp. But if it's here, and then it's there, and then it's there, then it's there, then it's here, then that means you're not consistent here. Okay? All right, Caitlin. Okay, again. Okay, now the two of you play A. Ready? Go. See? Terribly out of tune. I mean, somebody started way above the pitch, which is a common thing in flute. Alright? This is the center of pitch, and it's very common with flute to start way up here, and then it does that. Especially on lower notes. Lower notes, it ends up going flat. So you have to be able to start the note where you want it to be, instead of too aggressively and then sharp. The two of you again. Ready? Play. See? You hear it. I know you hear it. You hear it. We all hear it. What I hear is wah 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 wah. Can we just start with Can we start in the center and not have to pull yourself down to it? Ready? Intonation is hardest on double reed instruments, oboe and bassoon, and then flute's right behind. Okay, because it's so easy to move out of the center of the tone and center of pitch. All right, so it's something you must work on daily. Every time you play your instrument, there must be tuning, at least to some extent. Okay, Kenzie. By yourself once, please. Now with this. Okay? Alright, so, oh, sorry. Close your mouth. Oh, no, wait. Not put anybody through that. Yeah, piccolo tuning needs to be done in a separate. Okay, alright. Okay? Alright. Try that again, Mr. Kenzie. In addition to tuning, what are you doing right now?
Long tones.
You're playing long tones. Thanks, Tyler. You're playing long tones. All right. What you're doing is you're helping to establish and strengthen the core of your sound. Core. The core of your sound. Some of you have a pretty decent core to your sound. Some of you don't. Some of you have it's kind of a squirrely, fluttery kind of sound because there's no established chord. And what helps with that, what solves that, is long tones. But you have to be willing to sit down and allow minutes of your life to drip away while you sit there playing a note really long. So many people don't play long tones just for that simple reason. Oh, it's killing my time. No, it's killing your sound. That's what's happening. It's not killing your time, it's killing your sound when you don't. Okay? Alright, good. Alright, now all flutes, A. Yeah, well, I'm not worried about, I'm joking. I'm sorry. Go ahead to me. Okay, so it was there, it was out, and then it was there, and then it went away again. Try that. Listen for the waves. Do it again. The first time it was like I gave my stamp of approval, and then it changed. It's like when I compliment the ensemble, you guys sound great. The very next thing we play. Well, spoke too soon, or I take it back. I retract my previous statement. But I would also retract it if it went from bad to good. So, all right. Yes, sir? Okay. Here we go. Flutes, A. Ready? And. Okay, now, let's try those notes. You gotta get up here for the, let me hear that note. The G flat for first flute. Yeah, I need to send you that video that I sent that other flute player, because it was showing something specifically that she was doing with her lips to get high note response without forcing the air. Yeah, it's a different animal. It really is. Whereas all saxophones, the fingerings are the same. But those are different animals. Even those are different animals. From alto to tenor. Some don't feel it as much as others, but some do. Right? If I play flugelhorn versus trumpet, flugelhorn, smooth, mellow sound, nice and warm. In some ways, it's actually a little easier than trumpet. I love it. All right, but it's got a few slightly different little tendencies. Okay, shoot. Medium bore versus large bore F attachment trombone. Yeah. Different animal. Yeah. Okay. That versus sousaphone. Different animal. Okay. They're both tubas. That versus a piston valve tuba. Different. Okay. They're different. All right. So I'm sorry this has had to eat up some of our time today, but it needed to be done. All right. Dee, da, da, da. Let's just go right at 139 so everybody else can eventually play some of those too. Ready? Don't worry, Tom. You'll play before class is over. Okay, here we go. 179. 1, 2, ready, and. Yay! All flutes are playing. Tony, both of those notes are 23, right? Yeah. Anyone? Ball, ball. All right, if you need to mark that, go for it. Okay, here we go. That was nice, Lou. Thank you. 179. 1, 2, ready. And. There it is. First out. D flat, F, D flat, flat. Okay, do it again. Do it again. Ready? And. You gotta play with me. Okay, you gotta play with me. Here we go. No. One, two. Okay, here we go. 2, ready, and. There it is. All right, measure 197. Eighth note dotted quarter. Here we go. Ready, and. Ready, and. Okay, a little more second, a little more first, please. Here we go. Ready, and. Good. Now what's your done in?
Mezzo piano.
The most recent was mezzo piano. The volume you played right there, I like. Okay, so make sure we don't hide right there. It's a really pretty chord. Okay, both of them. Now, flute. Your two notes in measure 183. Make sure you're playing E flat, G flat. Okay, E flat, G flat. Let's go right there. We measure 183. 183. Here we go. You rest on one. That's okay. Two. Ready, and. All right, check that. C, A flat. C, E flat. A flat. Make sure the third note is E flat, not D flat. There it is. Very good. Thank you. Here we go. Ready, and. B flat, A flat. Make sure we get to A flat early. 183, 2, ready, and. Da 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 da. 1 and 2 and. Make sure you change on the end of 2. Don't change on 2. 1, 2, ready, and. That's it. Somebody not playing there? 198? 198. If you have a note, a half note, play 198. Ready, go. Some of y'all weren't playing right there. Did you miscount? Is that what happened? Okay. DeAndre. I've left you alone long enough. All right, measure 189. There's an eighth note line that you have there that needs to be brought out. Da 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 da. Make sure that really comes out. We need to hear that. Okay. Da 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 da. The 3 and 4 end right there. Okay. All right. Now, flutes, this is a delicate melody here. So while we're focusing so much on rhythms and singers, ultimately we want to make sure we don't bruise it. We play a nice smooth tone. Okay. 183, please. Once more. Ready? 2, ready, and. Is that first alphabet only that has that? Oh, there's the voice. Once more. We gotta move forward. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. Bring that up. Just noticed it. John, can you play those cues, please? should have noticed that sooner. We're missing a part of the chord here. Here we go. Last time, that's fine. Here we go. 183, 2, ready, and. And the saxophones and bass clarinet. All right, that tie over the bar line is not long at all.
Yeah.
Make sure you're ready after that tie. Don't try to sustain the tie. Just be ready for the end of one. One, da da da, and two, and three, and four. Okay, yes sir.
You play a high D flat on piano so I get to pitch my ears, please. A little lower.
Oh. I'm being too literal. No. Where you at?
That measure you were talking about, I got from A flat to D flat.
Oh, yeah.
It's 231.
Thank you, that's what I needed, thank you.
Okay.
And I was not trying to mock, I'm literally trying to find it. And
It's just a couple A notes. There's a couple. There's like three. There's like three A
You said
notes.
D flat, right?
Yeah, from A flat to D flat.
Okay, clarinets, how'd you do? I couldn't hear you very well. The one nut, the like 203, that whole section there. I couldn't hear you. I would love for you to bring that out. I want to be able to give a few people a little chance to play before we adjourn for the day. So everybody here's 218, but we got to go back and work on that stuff tomorrow. 218. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, and. at the beginning of it. We gotta know where to zig and where to zag. Okay? Yes. Ah, yeah, we worked on this in third too. Yeah, so hold down, keep the key down, and 2 fingers up. So first and second finger go up and go to E flat to F. E flat to F. Keep the E flat key down. That's right. So when you depress the finger, then it goes back to E flat. Try it. That's right. And you just have to make sure these 2 fingers.
I almost choked on it.
Together. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Eva, you should have the.
Just like that. Put in your eye. I would have to practice it. Try that in third period and do it. The answer is slow. Do, da, do, do, da, da. You did actually work on that a little bit. And they still don't have it. Alright? You will try to practice it as you go. Okay, listen please. Everybody start at 230, 230. 230. That groove. One and two and 1, 2, ready. You cannot let somebody else take the load while the other person has to just sit there and play softly. Both of you. Both of you. Okay? Alright, not a good place to start. But just for the constraints of time, 246. I'll tell you what, why don't we start with 4 and 1. You can take that pickup. All right, you just have an and for clarinet and for the other 4 and 1. Ready? Pick up to that bar. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so through these big power chords here at the end, some of us hit the first one on the end of 4. Just tied into a half note, right? This is the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 measures of the song. And then other people just play it straight on 1. That's the only tricky part of this section. Okay? So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last 6 measures. Last 6 measures. Ready? Ba ba. Those are clarinet heads. Ba ba. 3, 4. And put D la. 1, 2. Ready. And. and going through now, nice and steady without escaping too fast. Because if you go, it's gone. You gotta be able to sustain here at the end. You can do it. You can do it. I know you can do it. You got that much air, and then you gotta know how to work the air so you conserve it, you don't run out. Okay? The part that I said I wanted to go back and hear, will remind me, and we'll start with it tomorrow, and that's, right at the beginning of Defying Gravity, so we can get these clarinet parts, these background parts. Okay? All right, everybody. Thank you.